Hi, I'm sorry.
Tim, what are you sucking on?
I'm only sucking on an Altoid today.
Oh
Believe
my
it or not.
gosh!
But
what,
you caught me.
What
I
an
couldn't get it
opening.
down in time.
Are you okay?
I'm
Oh, good.
fabulous.
I would hate for you to choke when we're live streaming. That has never happened, but it would probably get us a lot of viewers.
I was going to say it'd be great for ratings.
So we coordinated today.
Yes, we did. And welcome to If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts,
Wendy Stuart
and Tym Moss.
Yay. Thank you for being with us today on this another sauna of a day.
Yeah,
a summer sauna of a day.
Here in New York City, we're having another heat wave.
And we're having a heat wave. Well, Tim is actually going to be having a real heat wave because Tim is on his way to
Orlando, Florida.
Yay.
This weekend. Ike Avelli and I were taking 50 Shades of Gay down to Orlando, Florida, the Abbey Theater, 7 o'clock on Saturday night. So be there.
Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, you've seen 50 Shades of Gay.
The show's hilarious, okay? And the costuming, Suze GK did an incredible job. Hilarious, okay?
Yeah.
But you didn't leave any time to go to like Disney or Universal or
I know.
Crazy?
Yeah. Next time we'll leave an extra day and do some parties.
An extra 2 days. And then I will fly down and meet them.
Deal.
Big deal. So you know what I just did this weekend? It's very hard for me to remain isolated and I'm being safe, but I gave an outdoor party for 64 people.
Yes.
And
I'm so sorry I couldn't make it up there.
Because it was in Pennsylvania, but everybody had an amazing time and I had great food and that was, it was social. My God, we need to be social.
Right.
We need to all talk to each other and try and normalize our lives again.
Mm-hmm.
And last week, in my quest to normalize my life, I went to see Sherry Vine at that space in Elmo. It's in the basement. I forgot what it's called.
I didn't know there was a name for it. It's just the basement in Elmo.
It's gorgeous. They really they did it.
Really?
It's like a little bit Moroccan, a little bit this, a little bit that. But Sherry Vine is always an amazing performer. She totally made us laugh. Her material sometimes is down outright filthy, but she does do a set now about aging, which I thought that's
very cool.
Yeah, that's cool because Sherry Vine is cool. Speaking,
I'm just checking my thing here because I honestly. Oh, I did that. I forgot about that.
Okay, good.
Because I had to check my schedule. What did I do this last weekend? I don't remember. But my friend Rachel Kane, who owns Trax Records in Chicago, was in town. And she said, why don't you come out on Sunday or Saturday to Coney Island? Because they were having a gathering. We went out and had an absolute ball. My buddy Jason Chaos, and he's called Chaos for a reason. His name is not
Chaos.
His name is Jason Chaos. And it's chaos for a reason. But he's like wild and crazy. And I hadn't seen him for a long time. So I was like, Jason, let's hit this roller coaster. We went on this badass roller coaster.
It wasn't the Cyclone?
No, we didn't do that. That was on the other side.
Okay.
But we did Thunderbolt. And it goes straight up. I love it. And drops you straight down, and it had like 8 upside downs or something. So
wait, you can do upside down?
Oh yeah,
I have to confess, I cannot do upside down.
Those
Can't
are the
do
best
it.
Roller coasters.
Upside down is like it takes me like hours to recover from.
Well, then we decided. I said, after that, we're high five, and I was like, oh my God, the ocean's right there. I said, why don't we go over and walk on the shore? So we walked over there, and he goes, let's jump in. So we just took our shirts off and jumped in with our clothes on. It was it was great.
You cursed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to be honest. Tim put the pictures up on Facebook, and this chaos person, oh my God, without a shirt, hot is all I can say. I didn't even notice that you had your shirt on. That's terrible. I didn't mean that. I'm just kidding. But he was amazing. Oh my God.
I have to tell you, today's guest.
Speaking of amazing, we're talking about amazing. She has been described as the love child of Pat Benatar and Taylor Swift. I didn't write that. Someone else did, but it's brilliant. So I'm stealing it. She's a singer, songwriter. She does poetry that meets pop medleys with her powerhouse vocals. She does heartfelt ballads and powerful rock songs. And this I really love. Her vocal range will give you goosebumps. That's right. Without further ado, let us welcome April Rose Gabrielli.
Yay!
Yay! Oh, should I not clap for myself? Yay!
Pat yourself on the back. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, of course. My pleasure.
After that intro, now you got to live up to it.
Yeah, right.
I know. Thanks a lot.
It's like, don't mention it. How have you been? We're all like into, what is it, 18 months already?
Yeah.
Tell us what you've been up to.
Oh my Lord. Well, I've been super busy and also not at all. There's like a different frequency. Yeah, there's like this different frequency with COVID life of, you know,
frequency. April Rose, I love that. It's a frequency. You're right.
It's like everyone's on this different thing. I mean, like I don't know about you guys. Like I've been freelancing or sort of working for myself since I was maybe since about 2017, 2018. So I think. Yeah. So it's like the gig life, whatever it is, like, you know, so I've been kind of on that frequency of working for myself, kind of taking days when I need them, working a little too hard, like burning myself out. I've kind of been dealing with that balance or trying to find that balance for many years. So I think it's been interesting with COVID, a lot of other people now who never even wanted to experience freelance life or working from home, working for yourself, kind of experienced the you know, pros and cons of doing so. But yeah, I mean, like I said, like it's been interesting. It's kind of been nice because it feels a little bit less like you're an outcast and like everyone's doing it. But
no, it's so funny. No, I love you. Really hit the nail on the head with that, because like both Tim and I've been freelance performing and modeling my entire life.
Yeah, so you know,
right? And I always felt it's like the fact that people assume you're in front of a computer. No, I'm not. Okay, I don't have a computer job, constantly out there hustling, you know, and you're right. COVID put us on this crazy kind of frequency.
Yeah. Like everybody just like needed to kind of figure out, everybody was so set, I feel, in what they knew that they were going to be doing for the next 10 or so years. And then all of a sudden it was like,
You know what, April? People, I'm kind of like you, and maybe you are too, where I always look at like the people that have the security and the gig, and it's a set piece. And what I've learned is none of us are guaranteed anything.
Absolutely, because the one thing that I really liked, one of the things with the pandemic, was it gave people a lot of times to tap back into their original passions. There was a lot of people that were doing corporate work that wanted to write or wanted to cook or something, and this gave them the chance to get back into it. I love that.
Yeah. But me and Jake actually experienced that here. Like we were basically planning on touring for all of 2020. Like that was in the plan. But in not doing that, I mean, we sort of got back into photography, and then I was selling my paintings for a couple months.
You paint
my drawings, and like I do these little doodles that I just, you know, like Shel Silverstein, like he does those kind of crude doodles with his
all those kids' books.
Yeah, like I love those. Those were the first books that I ever read. Like I just love them as a young person, and I always did those kind of doodles in my own sketchbooks. And
If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, wasn't that one of his books? If you give a mouse, did you read it? If you
No.
Oh my God!
And then like Where the Sidewalk Ends, one of my favorite ones, and yeah, so I love his books. But anyway, those like crude doodles. So I was like selling those because, I mean, also people are incredible. People who are listening to my music and expecting to see me out were so supportive and being like, if there's anything I can do to help support you in this time, I'm like, here's my shitty drawings, like check it out. Like, I love them. And I felt really, you know, I feel really fortunate that people actually embraced what I was doing. So I've been working that into doing like merchandise with that on it, and maybe books with it as well. So yeah, it was great, but it totally true. Like even with myself, like having been a freelancer and then getting, you know, work taken away, I had to kind of create new opportunities for myself, but it wound up being a positive thing overall. So
now, is that tattoos I see on your arm?
Yes.
So what do you have?
What do I have?
Oh, you got quite a few.
Yeah,
a bunch. Just on this arm though. I don't know why.
That's so
cool.
cool.
Which arm do you write with?
This one.
But that's really
great.
funny. This is the arm for show.
Yeah, I don't know. I got more beat up on this arm. Like I already had like a scar here and like other stuff. So I was like, you know, just put them on this arm. I was just already used to it. I don't know. So
what are the drawings you have on your arm?
So I have a couple of fun ones. Let me take this off. My most recent one that I got is my dog's, I kind of can't see it, my dog's underbite.
Yes.
She's
Do you have a Brussels Griffin?
I don't. I love
They all
them.
have underbites.
Right. My little Ellie is a rescue girl, and she's a bunch of stuff. So we don't know what the heck she is. She's like a Chihuahua, but also a boxer, but also a pit bull. Like she's. Let me try to find like a good picture of her. Oh, she's.
You have like her underbite.
You have the underbite. That's like
so
I never
cool.
met anyone that had an underbite like that too. It just opens up. Oh, you got her there?
Great.
Come up. Yeah, she heard her name. Come on, Ellie. Come up.
Tail.
Yeah.
Do you see her back there? I don't know.
See the tail.
Ellie, I'm calling
Ellie.
you.
Come on, Ellie. Come in.
Come on, Ellie.
Come on, Ellie.
Come on, Ellie. There she is. I see her cute little face.
Today she's 9 months old. Come on, honey.
Oh,
So-
happy birthday.
So wait, you got her during the pandemic.
Yeah, we got her during the pandemic. Come on, Ellie.
Puppy. That's
Come
what
up.
we call them.
Anyway, a lot of people got puppies too. She's being shy.
That's okay.
She's camera shy.
Yeah, that's her right to do that.
Oh, I
She-
hear her.
What made you decide to get a pandemic puppy? I love talking to people.
When
about
did, when did I actually? Well, I
What
kind
made you
of.
decide now?
When did? Wait, say that again. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Decide when you were going to get this puppy. Why did you decide to do it during the pandemic?
I love animals.
Too.
But I lived in New York for 10 years and never really had the opportunity to have one. Like I just was so
Right.
busy all the time and didn't make
Yeah.
enough money. Like it wasn't right.
And also
So
space. Usually
Yeah.
space is very confined here in New York.
yeah, absolutely. So there was like, it just made sense. I'm trying to find a picture of her too, because she was not showing her face. Here, this is her.
Oh my God. April,
God,
April,
how
she's so
cute.
cute. She's got Jack Russell in her.
Yeah.
That's what they thought she was. I call her like a diet Jack Russell. 'Cause she's like all these other weird breeds and then looks like that. So I don't know why she looks that way, but whatever.
That's
She's
so cool.
so I got sick in November, so I was really down in the dumps, and I don't know. I was home a lot, like kind of with Jake, and we were working, and it was the winter, and it was my birthday's coming up, and I was like, I don't know. We were also watching Family. We were watching their dogs, and they were kind of in the house. So then when they left, it kind of like left a space. So I was like, that would really like lift my spirits and to take care of something. Like I would love to be a mother. So like, I don't know. So I was like, I was really just fiending for something to take care of. And it's been really a mood boost. So yeah.
That is such a positive thing that you did that. Now you mentioned you had gotten sick in November. So obviously that affected this decision. Well, if you don't mind us asking what was going on with you.
Sure. So luckily I was not touched by COVID, knock wood. But yeah, so this is like a very random thing that happened. But on about mid-November of 2020, I got randomly diagnosed with epilepsy after having 2 seizures.
At
a left
God.
field.
At my home, like just randomly. So that was weird. And I don't have a history of it. Luckily, I've been very privileged my whole life to have never experienced anything quite like this. So anyway, that was in November. So I don't know how many months ago. So that I've been as I've been launching my music career, I've also been experiencing a whole new type of lifestyle through this diagnosis. It's been really interesting. So yeah, so that's
now with this.
You can feel free to ask whatever you want.
With this diagnosis, because you said you have to change your lifestyle. Does that include like your diet your
well, and it's a bunch
exercise,
of so it's a bunch of stuff that I pretty much chose to take on just out of my own like comfort. So there's certain things like there's so many different types of epilepsy and different things that can trigger any sort of neurological happenings. So there's a lot of different things that can, what they kind of call, raise and lower your threshold to experience any sort of neurological event. So, things like caffeine, alcohol, any sort of drug use.
Oh, yeah, right.
I'm also randomly allergic to like bread, so I just don't eat bread, but that's separate. I think that helps. But so I also am I was an avid runner prior to the diagnosis, but I've been continuing to do that as a result. But yeah, I've been pretty much just eating like no fast food, nothing processed,
Right.
it's nothing really super fun, but I love cooking, and I have access to fresh food, so like I can't really
But
complain.
that's such a great path to be on
Yeah.
anyway. In my own life, I mean, I can tell you it'll give you longevity.
Yeah.
You'll look gorgeous for a lot longer, and you're going to
Yeah.
feel amazing. You know, your
Yeah.
body will show it.
Now,
Yeah.
when you first had these seizures, I mean, that had to have been absolutely
Yeah, right.
frightening in the middle of a pandemic. Did you think, of course, your first thought, I'm sure, was COVID.
Right?
Well, I woke. It's really an interesting experience, because my first thought, because you knock out when it happens, and I was definitely nervous going to the emergency room.
Passed out.
Oh, you completely. So there's different like kinds, but I generally experience what's called a grand mal or a tonic-clonic seizure, which are like of course I have to do it big. That's just the way I have to do things. So I have to do the big ones. But it's basically, yeah. So like I experienced kind of like an auditory or a visual like hallucination. If you've ever experienced deja vu, it's kind of similar to that. So
Wow.
I have a warning. I'm lucky. There's some people that just drop out of nowhere. So I have a warning generally. And then I kind of, at the time I didn't realize because it never happened to me before. But that happened. And then basically, I woke up really confused in my bedroom, and there was two men in there that I didn't know, and I was like,
wow,
who is this? And there were two EMTs, because my partner like called.
So you were lucky your partner was there when this happened.
Oh, of course. I'm very lucky. I was laying down in bed, so I was very, very lucky, because the few times that it's happened after, I was luckily at home. Like that's kind of been the positive of not having, I've been touring since 2015. So the fact that I was able to be home while experiencing this whole diagnosis and all of these different episodes, like I'm very lucky in that regard. So that's kind of the positive of everyone having to be home for the most part. But yeah, I was definitely freaked out having been in the ER. I was at the height of cold and flu season in like November and December.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, it's scary, really scary.
Just real quick. So you were asleep. So there wasn't like an auditory or a visual.
Oh no. So I was on my way to falling asleep that night. Like I was in bed ready to go to sleep. And then like, I don't know. I looked out the window and there was like these weird, like we live right by a train. There's like these train lights or something. And I was just so like out of it. I was like, what is that? Like, I just kind of, and then I just kind of woke up and the lights were on and there was these people there. And I was like, what just happened?
Who are you?
But you also, you can't really speak immediately. So like it's a frightening experience. I don't even have it half as bad as you can have it. So like,
no, I have friends that have had it, but they generally develop it as kids. Yours came out of left field. Did they also tell you that strobe lights can set off a seizure?
Well, it's so photosensitive epilepsy, it makes up about 3% of people who have epilepsy. It's a huge common misconception that that's the thing that does it. But yeah, so it's really interesting because I also, as a performer, I was like really afraid that was going to affect.
You've got lights.
I'm like, well, I love strobe lights. Like I love that.
And of course, that wonderful wonderful spotlight.
Yeah, like, I love being on stage. That was a huge fear of mine, was getting back up on stage and experiencing that. But they usually perform a test called an EEG. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. There's frustrations in the epilepsy community if they work or not. But I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but they generally test that. So I didn't show as having photosensitive epilepsy, but I do oftentimes around the house, or if I'm on the computer, I'll wear blue light glasses because sometimes I am a little bit more light sensitive as a result. But so I don't have to worry about flashing lights as much. But yeah, we're noticing a pattern with different things that's actually been following my hormones. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. So
I can tell you I experienced a little of what you had, and I know a lot about hormones, and I've been told, Definitely PMS time is the time you have to be really
everything switched, like everything flips on its head.
It's so weird.
My goodness.
I am so impressed that with this going on, you managed to come out with a hit song. How did this happen? I mean, oh my gosh, you're
I am very lucky to be surrounded by a lot of really supportive people. My whole management team has been so just like, it's really showed their true colors of they really believe in me and care about me.
Nice.
So, and the people that I work with in my family, like everybody has been super supportive. So that has a lot to do with it. I wrote this song before a lot of these things happened to me, but I created the music video after I was first sick. So I actually, the music video actually draws direct reference to being sick with something that's invisible. The whole "Do you see mine?" I used as sort of a subtext of, can you see what I'm going through? I do you see how I love? Can you see? Can I experience things the same way again? Can I communicate the same thing? So, yeah, I think like in a beautiful way, it helped really bring out a different meaning to the song for me, especially because I wrote the song in 2019, and it was just a love song of like, do you see that I like you, or am I going crazy?
Right.
And to me, it grew into this just an all out, like, I'll stick with you through whatever happens. And, can you see?
It's so incredible. It has it ended up having a dual meaning. And when you did the video, it was post being diagnosed. So things, the
fact that you wrote it before the pandemic.
Right.
Yeah.
In the universe, things have the oddest way of lining up, but we have to go with it, right?
Oh, you have to.
See this video. Chauncey, can you?
Well, I want to talk about Jacob for a couple minutes. Well, first, you never established, where are you? Where are you?
I don't know. No, I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm right outside Harrisburg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you've been there, you were there through the pandemic.
Yeah. So I lived in New York, and then I was out here working on music and hanging out with Jake, and I got stuck out here because my birthday is, this is not a joke. Yeah, no, my birthday is March 16th. So I don't know if you remember, everything started shutting down around like March 4th.
Yeah.
So I wound up kind of like against a lot of people's best recommendations. I was like, I really want to, work on music for my birthday and be out here. Like, it was the plan that I had. So I stubbornly kind of was like, and it would probably be good if I left New York for a little bit.
Right.
So I wound up kind of getting stuck out here for a couple months. So, which was fine. But then as we realized that this wasn't necessarily like going away, I was like, why don't we just look at like places around here? Like, I never had a studio space, so why don't we?
Now you can.
So like, it's cool. So like, that's kind of what happened, and then we found this place. So I've been here since July.
So now you're out there with your partner Jacob Kulik. Is that right? Kulik?
Yep, Jacob Kulik.
And tell us about Jacob. Now, he signed with Sony, is that right?
Yeah, so he's signed,
and he is legally deaf.
Yeah, so he's half deaf in both ears. Yeah,
half deaf in both ears.
Yeah,
that's so amazing.
Was that congenital, or was that from being a musician?
It's so funny. Everyone asks that. No, he was born like that, and for many years they actually thought that he was only deaf in one ear. Like, they couldn't really figure it out. And I mean, if you're like born that way, you don't really know the difference.
Right. You have no point of reference. Right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's his story. So that's sort of
so amazing. That he can still feel the music and hear.
He can hear. Like, how can I explain? Like, the best way that I obviously don't know because I'm not in his ears, but it's pretty much if you were to, things kind of sound muffled if you were to do this, but you can hear it. That's how I imagine it to be like, because he basically hears half of what most people can hear.
Yeah. And
So he can still hear a little bit without assistance, but he wears hearing aids like 90% of the time. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're both of you are just
Amazing.
fascinating,
Yeah.
fascinating and amazing people.
Thank you.
So, Chauncey, why don't we take a listen to Do You, which is April Rose's new. Well, this is the new video here.
Yeah. We're both in this one.
Yeah, I do too. You find yourself singing along with that.
Do you know the way I feel? I hope so. I don't expect you to, 'cause all I say is just do you, babe. Do you know that I am asking while I'm telling? I am crying when I'm yelling, and I don't know how else to ask. If you will ever let yourself free, I don't believe you will, but do you think the same of me? Oh, I'm so done with over dramatics. Just wanna be boring, but then I won't act the way that I want to all of the time. Oh baby, be mine. Oh baby, be mine. You gotta know there's a look in your eye. Oh, do you see mine? Do you see mine? Do you see mine? Do you know the way I love you? Don't know, I don't expect you to, 'cause all I say is just do you, babe. Do you know that I am thriving when I feel you, and I am living just to love you, and I don't know how else to ask. If you will ever say you love me, I don't believe you will. At least you're living honestly. Oh, I'm so done with fighting about it. Just wanna be simple, but then I can't act the way that I want to all of the time. Oh baby, be mine. Oh baby, be mine. You gotta know there's a look in your eye. Oh, do you see mine? Do you see mine? Do you see mine? Do you know? I wait up. Do you know you're worth it? Do you know I'll hold on? Do you know you're worth it? Do you know how I feel? Do you know? Baby, be mine. You gotta know there's a look in your eye. Do you see mine? Baby, be mine. You gotta know there's a look in your eye. Do you see mine?
Oh, beautiful.
Yes. Oh my God. Just. Oh, I think you're muted.
Mute.
Sorry, I didn't do that. That's good.
So I agree with. I love the video.
Incredible.
I have a question. The symbolism in the video. Your like white mirror images of each other with colors on your fingers. Yeah, talk about that.
Thank you for asking. I love the details in these things. So we picked the white like wardrobe sort of to symbolize like the scrubs or like the hospital kind of wear.
Oh.
So it was kind of I mean, because the many times that I've been sick or couldn't fend for myself, like he's been there picking me up and bringing me to safety, you know, whatever. So it's like I owe him my life in so many ways. So you know, it's sort of the white wardrobe was sort of to kind of emulate the hospital wear and the kind of to look sick. Like we were calling those characters like the sick babies. Like, I don't know, like we were like the sick people, or I don't know, to sort of, because I don't know, we experienced this thing that like we've been going through with each other where we're just, you know, experiencing so much that it brings you to a different level of intimacy, you know, in a way of like
within your humanity.
Yeah, and like your mortality, and you know, different things matter, different things affect you. And the colorful wraps, actually, for many years, I luckily got out of the habit. I feel very blessed that I fixed it. But I used to, with really bad anxiety, used to pick at my skin a lot. So, and I have scarring just from total like anxious tics throughout my life. I've always been a very high energy person, so I think that had something to do with it. But the only way I was able to stop was by putting these wraps on my fingers. Wow. And I've always been very insecure about that as a keyboard player and as
wow.
And so, because my hands have always just looked jacked up, like always look messed up. And, you know, I was a little worried about it for the video to just see. And I was like, I'm going to include that in the thing that I've sort of overcome. And also just because I know that there's a lot of people that pick at their skin or, you know, have these anxious tics. And I kind of wanted to show that you should embrace it a little bit. Like you can, you know, you got to do what you have to do in order to feel better. And to
accept, don't hide.
Yeah, like if you have scars, like show them
who you are.
Yeah, and I was just kind of a way to reclaim that, because I definitely know that. I mean, I always used to get looks like when I talk about like it was like self-harm to a degree. I mean, they were down here, like those bandages were the length that they needed to be, like to help me stop doing it, you know. But it helped me, you know, out of the habit. And you know, I was at work at different locations. Like I used to work at a theater, and I'd be typing as a ticket taker and have all these things on my hands, and everybody like, what's wrong with you? But I'd play shows with them, and people thought that they were so I could play better. They thought it was a part of it.
Right? Like when you play guitar, you end up getting calluses and stuff.
Yeah, but keys, it's not the case. It actually, like, I used to get all over my keyboard because they're like sticky, but whatever. Yeah, so that's kind of a part of it. Like that was also just a part of like my journey of self-acceptance, and it was sort of like, you know, moving on from that, moving into this new area of my life of really learning to appreciate my body on healthy days and taking care of it as much as I possibly can. So
your message is so positive.
I agree.
April,
and
so positive.
I'm so grateful that you learned that, and that you're moving forward, and that and again, because that's not easy to do. It's not easy to step out of a situation that you're a paradigm.
Yeah, like I mean, your perspective is everything. So if your perspective is negative, your life is going to be negative. And honestly, like I have a lot to be thankful for. So these little things that get in the way at times, like that's okay. Like
it's part of life,
right? And it's one philosophy of mine is whatever has happened before is brought you to where you are today.
Right. Yeah.
And you have a choice of where you go from here.
And like, I feel grateful that I'm in this process of promoting myself as an artist, and these things are sort of occurring simultaneously because I feel like there's an entire group of people that, you know, I can access now that I never could have related to before. And I feel that within the community of being chronically ill or having invisible illnesses, the best thing in the world, at least in my experience, is to know that you have a community and to know that you're not alone, because it's very isolating. So I feel very fortunate that, you know, I love to make music. I'd make music no matter what, but I feel fortunate that I can kind of guide my music into, you know, creating community as well, you know.
Absolutely.
So, well, you're giving out such a supportive message, you know, because it's really easy when a person gets diagnosed with something, and I believe nobody goes through this life untouched. Like when we were talking earlier, that's why that Kardashian world that they shove down our throats, that make people think that they're less than. That's bull. Nobody gets through life untouched. Stuff happens to everybody, and it's your ability to work around it, work through it, and then to take your story and use it to support other people. And that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I feel fortunate that I can do that, you know, because I'm in a position where like I definitely have bad days, but I still have really good days. And so for that, I feel like there's many folks that don't have those good days. So I feel that
that's part of the journey too. That's part of the journey.
Yeah.
But thank you also for giving visibility to the invisible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the part,
You know,
right.
yeah.
I hope so. I mean, I hope so. And like, there's I don't know, I've been told some interesting things as I've like come out to people about this essentially. And like, you know, there's no right way to be sick or to look sick. Some people are like, oh, well, it doesn't seem like you are, or it doesn't seem like, oh, I would have never guessed that you were going through that. And it's kind of like, you know, I feel like it's important. And even in my own life, I need to do this more. I need to approach everybody as if, you know, they're going through things that I could never understand, and, you know, treat everybody with the same level of kindness and respect as if it were my mom or my brother or somebody I just truly love. So that's like I'm trying to do that as best as I possibly can.
April, have you learned this resiliency? I know you've been a performer since you were a kid. Is it something that you learned? Did you learn it from rejection, or was it something that's always been in you?
I think it's two things. I've definitely been told no a lot more times than I've been told yes. That's a part of being in the entertainment industry. Yeah, take it with a smile and go to the next audition. I truly believe that my resilience has never been to the point where it is until today, because I feel like I don't know, how can I explain? Like, I just feel so fortunate that I'm able to do what I do. So my resilience comes from the fact that there should be no excuse unless something's unless I cannot get up. There's been days I wake up and I'm in a bed and I'm bedridden. Unless I'm physically unable to rise out of that bed, you know, and do my thing, like I should be up, and, you know, so I try to, I guess the resiliency has come from just loving what I do and the passion that I have for what I do. And it's like, I mean, I got on stage in July for the first time in a year and a half. And it was the first time since I was diagnosed with epilepsy. And I'm like, I have no idea how this is going to go. Right. But there's nothing scarier to me in my life than just sitting home and doing nothing and letting, you know, the fear win. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going. I could be up there for 40 minutes. I could do this. Like, so yeah, but that was long-winded, but sorry. Yeah.
And then once you step out on that stage and it starts, you forget about all of that. Right. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's funny because my brother actually was at the show and he's like, I put two and two together, and he's like, you could just be up there and it could happen. Like, right. It's like every day. Yes, that's it. I'm like, but
was that the show you did at the bitter end?
Yeah, awesome.
That was like, okay, so you know, you had the diagnosis,
sold out crowd,
right? Sold out. You had the diagnosis, and you had, you know, knee deep in the pandemic, right? You hadn't been performing on a stage. You had all of these variables. What was going through your head prior to getting on that stage? I'm so curious.
I was like really like properly shitting a pickle. I also had 9.
That's the proper way to shit.
I had 9 brand new songs with a band configuration I've never played with before live.
I love
it. I mean, like, it's a great series of problems to have. Okay, like I have a show in this, you know, climate, and people are willing to come, so that's fantastic. And there was a venue willing to host and keep it safe and all that. And I had new songs to share, and I just missed singing so much. So, I mean, what was going through my head? I just wanted to stay as healthy as possible and remain as stress-free as possible. And it worked out. So I feel fortunate that I was able to do that.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. I was just trying to keep it together.
Well, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our incredible and extremely inspiring guest, April Rose Gabrielli.
Yay!
You guys rock.
We've
Yeah,
got
what a
some
great
comments here.
Okay.
Teresa Sabine just says, "I love this." Amelia Ab Studio. I can't see the last name. Amelia.
That works.
She
Yeah.
says, "I like this music." Colby Cole, who is an
Incredible
amazing
singer.
vocalist,
Yeah,
amazing
incredible.
vocalist, in all caps, says she is a great singer.
Oh,
Awesome. Thank you so
Great.
much.
yeah.
Joe
Amazing.
Preston, our
Hi,
buddy,
Joe.
says Major, a superstar.
I love
And
this.
Ronaldo Nengo Rivera, hi. He says, "Good afternoon, beautiful voice."
Oh,
And a heart. And
oh
there
my
are
God,
many. There are
this
many
is
more,
so
but they're all
great,
just
yeah.
singing your praises. Pop, but up, bop, singing.
Love it. Good one, Tim.
But you know what? That's the beauty of why Tim and I do this show. Hearing those comments
Yeah.
and not only listening to your beautiful voice, but everything that you've said about yourself.
Yeah.
It's so real. Okay. And it is so inspiring.
Yeah,
And
your journey is
your
is
journey
amazing.
is, and your journey is really just beginning. I mean, it's
Yeah, it
all
is.
ahead of you, which is like, now you had also one of your songs was chosen for a documentary about women
I know.
in space. Tameless is the song.
I love
Yeah. So it was a documentary that debuted in the Tribeca Film Festival in New York. It was an awesome event. And it was about women in STEM. So it follows 4 women, a girl as young as 15 years old. She was like a scientist and an innovator, amazing.
At 15.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, like what was I doing? I was like journaling at 15, being like, I want to sing, like whatever, like I don't know what I was doing, but
I was
anyway.
sitting on a stoop at 15. What were you doing at 15?
probably drugs.
Yeah, like, I was not doing anything good at 15. Okay.
You don't feel too small.
Anyway, so that's a beautiful story, and it's about 4 women, 4 really diverse women, actually. So, and the song that I wrote, Tameless, got chosen for the trailer and the title track, which I've never had a song in a movie before, and it was really cool to see it all come together. It was really nice.
What was it
So-
about that song that spoke to them to choose it?
I have no idea. No, I'm just kidding.
Like random.
No, I don't know. I mean, I was really so overjoyed that they wanted to choose it. I spoke to the producer and the awesome lady that chose the song. She actually told me, I believe, if I'm getting this right, her younger son, like 12, 13 years old, maybe, might be a little older, I'm not sure, heard the song in the car as she was listening through them and said that had to be the one. So I don't know
Cool.
if that's
Wow.
all of what it was, but they're a great, the few companies that were involved with producing the film and choosing the music were just like incredible. And we're still connected and hopefully going to work together again soon. So yeah, it was just good vibes all around. I don't know. I think we were just kind of all on the same page.
Right. What was it like going to the Tribeca Film Festival?
So cool. It was so cool. It was my first red carpet. So it was awesome. I wore like a dress. So, if I'm
Like
in
a dress.
Yeah.
Something like a dress. Right?
I've literally been like basically a boy for like 28 years. So it's awesome. But it was awesome. It was really, really great. And I got to meet a bunch of really great people. I got some cool pictures. It was great to be in New York. That was the first time I was in New York for a long, that was in June. So that was before the show at the Bitter End, but I hadn't been there in quite a while. And it was great to be in that area. It was like by Chelsea Piers, I think.
Yeah.
Or by Chelsea. It was great.
April, while you're talking, it's making me think, people come to New York, right? And they dig their heels in. And 30 or 40 years later, they're burnt, right? You came to New York, you did a thing here, and then you went elsewhere. And you did what I call shaking it up. And I think there's a lesson to be learned from this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to have the guts and be able to, project forward and say, I have to do something to shake it up, to make
it wasn't fully intended, but I really was craving, I was having these like visualizations of like being out in nature, and I really wanted like a proper studio space, because I had just started producing my own songs and actually, starting to learn audio engineering and really getting into sounds. Like you need like a proper setup. So I wanted to start to take my own career seriously to get it to the next level. And I saw other people not in major cities doing really well. So I was like, I could do that.
Because one of the things here in New York City, it's so intense and so
I love it.
overwhelming that it's easy to forget yourself, forget what your purpose is, forget all of this. And once if you removed yourself from all of that and just allowed things to happen organically.
Right.
Yeah. And I love New York. Like I'll never like I would go back in a heartbeat. I really do like it. That's the truth. And I hope to one day. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something that needed to happen for now, you know, and it's
get that.
Yeah.
And I traveled. I got to travel all over, and I'm from New York, so like I was in New York for like 18 years. No, let me think. I don't even know when I left for the first time. I think I left maybe for the first time at like 19, other than like going to see my grandma in Florida. But I like really never left, you know, I never like went even anywhere in the States, whatever, but through music, like I've traveled so much. I realized like home is where you make it. Like home is where your people are. And like like, to me, it's like where my keyboard is, where my desk is, like, you know, home can be easily made. So,
and like you were saying, right now, you've got computers, you've got this StreamYard, you've got all of this. You can connect from anywhere on the planet.
Absolutely, which is amazing.
It used to be you'd have to go into a big studio here in the city. You'd have to be here. That's not necessary anymore.
Yeah, it's like kind of what you want to do, which is nice. The barriers to entry are a little bit lower, which is nice. It gives accessibility to a bunch of different people who, you know, wouldn't normally be able to do so.
Even with streaming, you know, we're able to bring on people from all over the country. Like you're in Pennsylvania, we're in New York. We bring on people from LA,
or London.
These shows, or London. These shows would not ever happened if it weren't for this. Well, the pandemic really is what started the streaming for me, you know, because like you, all of a sudden I woke up one day and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
No,
you do.
This is not happening. This is not acceptable. I have to find a different way to do things. And and so you do. You know, I imagine you have a very supportive family. That's the feeling I get.
I do. Yeah, I'm very lucky to have. I love my mother. I love my father. I have an incredible and brilliant younger brother. He's my only sibling. Also, he's a musician. But he's also like a scientist as well. It's kind of crazy. He's nuts. He got all the stuff I didn't get, but like he's brilliant. My mom is also a musician. My dad's got a PhD in social policy. He's brilliant. Like they're just like amazing people. And then from that, like my parents split, but they still found other amazing people to be with. Like luckily, you know what I mean? Right. So I have an incredible extended family. My stepdad's an incredible person. I love my stepmother. Like, you know, just a lot of amazing different walks of life and different kinds of people that I'm lucky, you know, support what I like to do.
Yeah, really. To have all of those people behind you. So your mom has a musical background though. Yeah. I always ask people, because most people that come on that have that music, it is something, it's a gene. You know, and it's an incredible gene to get. Although your brother got science and music,
dude, he's
kind of related.
He's just so he's really brilliant. I don't know. I talk about him a lot. Like I don't really get how. I mean, we relate. Like I love talking to him. I could talk to him about anything. He's also like a phenomenal cook. Like he really like does it all. He's very well rounded. Which is where maybe I never gave myself the opportunity to be as well-rounded. You have to like do that for yourself in a way, but you know, he's fantastic. So he was my drummer for many years, actually.
Your brother was your drummer? Oh my God. I love it. Keep it in the family.
Yeah.
You're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our amazing and glorious guest, April Rose Gabrielli.
Yay!
Thanks for saying my last name right.
Okay, I was hoping.
Yeah, it's spelled the way it sounds. You know, not everybody's name is, and I'm always the first one to butcher names, and I didn't butcher yours at all.
No, I really appreciate. That's like a big insecurity. I'm like, is my name too long for this? Like, whatever.
A couple more comments that I just wanted to mention.
Sure.
Our friend Sue Stutzman. She's a designer.
Thanks for watching, Sue.
She says, thanks for sharing your art and music. And Evan Lawrence, who's also a good friend of ours, says, what a lovely human being.
Aww.
So
That's really nice. Thank
I
you.
think they're such incredibly creative people
Yeah, right,
too. So,
exactly.
wow.
That's awesome. That's
Now, back to Jake. How did the two of you meet? Did you know that each of you were musicians, or was it like through music or other circumstances?
so
Just real quick, because in the music video, you can see the way you look at each other, the depth of your connection.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's the best. Let's see. I met because his band was on tour. I was on their first tour. So Kulik was on a tour when he was signed with RCA, and I used to open at this venue on Long Island at Amityville Music Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in cahoots with one of the promoters there. He would always, help me out and get good openers or like good opening spots for bands that were on tour and stuff like that. So he's like, yeah, it's really great acts coming into town. Like, they could use a good opener. And it was a really random, out of the blue kind of thing. But I was like, I have a good feeling about this. Like, let's do this. And then, and then we opened for him and we kind of met through there. And then just, through there, we were like, oh yeah, we should write together or something. And then he hired me as his keyboard player after our first writing session. So, and then we traveled together, and then we've just been inseparable since we met. So
That's great.
It's
That's
obvious
so cool.
you're very symbiotic in the video. I figured that you would be in your regular life. That really I agree with you. It comes through.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel very fortunate. It's like, if you've heard of, I never believed in this stuff before, but like the twin flame kind of, I feel like that's kind of, it's just, I don't know, when you meet someone that, I don't know, it's like you feel like you're completed. Like even just on a romantic level, a friendship level, whatever it is, like people are supposed to meet certain people. But yeah, I feel really fortunate that
very cool.
We've connected. Yeah.
Your soulmate, that's a true soulmate.
You are where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, your manager, let's talk about your manager.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I believe I watched you guys interview him once, because I watch all of these.
Yes.
I'm his biggest fan. I'm his number one fan.
Wonderful person.
Oh my God. He's unreal. Yeah.
Yeah, just a very generous human being.
John Velasquez.
Oh yeah. We didn't even say his name. We all knew.
His history in the music industry. Yeah. The thing about him, and also about you, humble. Mm-hmm. He was so incredibly humble, and that's
he'll never take credit for.
It's unbelievable.
No, he just doesn't. That's not his style.
Just a quiet person in the room, and we did a filmed piece with Soho Johnny, a pilot, and
cool. Yeah,
John was there that day, and I was gonna hunt him down because everyone else is talking or that. There's John, off.
Okay. Yeah. John, I met John because I got called in to do a random. I was lucky about this because this is how we met. Me and John met. I got a text from a friend who couldn't make a gig for this benefit kind of concert type thing. It was, I performed for. It was like, he's like, I don't think you'll get paid, but there's a lot of cool people there. I'm like, whatever. Like, I was really depressed. I was like, I need a show to do. Like, I'll go play a couple songs, whatever. So I was like, not in a good mental space. This is back in like July of 2019. And I go to the show, whatever, keyboard's already set up there. And this is John, generous man, is just there kind of helping me out. So I'm thinking he's like the sound guy.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I'm thinking like he's just a rando, like, which is cool. Like sound guys are extremely important. You should not piss them off at the shows, like whatever. But he was really great. We hit it off. Like we were just super casual chatting, whatever. And I was like, this sound guy is just so nice, whatever. So I didn't catch his name, whatever. I played, fucked off, whatever. So like, and then like throughout the night, people were like, oh, have you met John? Have you met John? Because it was like a networking event. It was really great. I think it was with MD25 and Creative Visions. There may have been some other companies involved. I forget. It's called their Sundowners. They used to do them it's like every like fourth Thursday on a full moon. I don't know, something like that.
I love that.
I don't know what it was, but anyway, irrelevant. But everyone's like, oh, did you meet John? Because I was like, this is a great event, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, who is John? And they're like, it's that guy. I was like,
Oh wow.
They're like, this is his thing. Like this, he's the head guy. He's the head honcho. Like he's a huge deal. I'm like, oh, really? Like, great. Like, cause we're like BFFs. Like we totally hit it off. So I went up to him. I was like, why didn't you mention that you were running and like producing this whole event? He's like, I don't know. And then we're just kind of,
That's exactly what
I was like, okay. I was like, whatever. So then after that, I just exchanged like email info with him because, you know, I was like, we talked a lot about music publishing, which is his thing.
Yes,
and
that's his thing. Yeah.
Right.
And I have a business degree in entertainment management. So like, I love the music business. I love entertainment business. Like I love all of it. So I get nerdy and like nerd out about that stuff. So that's all I thought we were talking about. But after I kind of put it into perspective and got his contact info, I was like, he's a great like resource. Like I should really, sit down. Like I was in the process of wanting to start a solo music career after touring with other bands and whatever else. So I was like, maybe I can just like email him and see if he'll give me the time of day. And he just like agreed to meet with me and like, give me advice every once in a while. And the rest is history.
I love it.
Wow.
Meant to be. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like ridiculous. And he said he wouldn't like manage anyone again, but I don't know. He like decided he would.
Excellent.
I feel very fortunate for that because he's really like the best. I don't know. I couldn't do it with anyone else.
And again, you found someone that was worth managing.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my goodness. Well, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our amazing guest. I just adore April Rose Gabrielli. Yay.
I'm dying to hear about what's coming up for you.
Yes. What have you got coming up? And
What is coming up?
How can people find out more about you?
So I update my socials pretty regularly. If you just look up my full name, April Rose Gabrielli, obviously like my music's on Spotify, Apple Music. Any new releases will be on there. What do I have coming up? I have a couple of performances. I will be in New York on September 3rd for I'll be doing a show with Kulik as well as playing some of my own songs. We were just talking about it today, what we're gonna do.
That's it.
Yeah.
Arlene's Grocery, right?
Yeah, at Arlene's Grocery. And then on September 11th, I'll be at the amazing benefit concert with
Johnny.
Johnny, my amazing
We'll be there.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that whole big extravaganza.
And that's
What was that?
to benefit the veterans. I Am No Joke Foundation and to
Yeah,
benefit-
Operation Warrior Shield, correct? Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
September 11th. The timing is perfect.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And I also love people who help other people. I benefited from them a lot, so I'm all for that. So that's great. But yeah, so that show's happening. I'm looking up at my board at the moment. I will be performing. Yeah, I will be performing with So Far Sounds on a couple of different dates in New York, Philly, and Baltimore.
Sweet.
So if you're interested in that, like you can reach out. There's also if you go to their website, there's events, but you could contact me and I can give you the info.
All this is on your website, April. People can just go to your website.
Yeah, or like Instagram too. Instagram or I'm like all the social medias I'm usually like pretty good with for the most part. And then I'll be hopefully touring with Kulik opening for the Spill Canvas all of November. So
Wow.
God,
You
Wonderful.
are busy.
Love it.
Yeah. me
yeah.
And deservingly so.
Thanks.
But I adore your music. I adore your voice. I adore your mind. I adore your spirit and your soul. You're just adorable.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing
Great.
it all here for us today and for the people that are watching. You know, you got a whole
Yes.
fan club on there today.
That's awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, no, I really appreciate the time and the space.
Oh, our pleasure. You are welcome on here on our show anytime you
Anytime.
want.
And-
Awesome. All right, I'll keep that in mind.
And we will see you September 11th,
Yes.
if not earlier.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
That too. That would be great.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Well,
Yay.
April Rose Gabrielli, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate
You.
These Walls Could Talk.